The Jeep Cherokee, an off-road and durability legend. But should you buy one? And honestly, I would have a hard time recommending one to someone. And I'm going to go over that now. The first biggest reason is the rust. I'm in the process of fixing my floors, and there's none left. It's a total reconstruct on them. Just the rust has just eaten them away over the past 4 winters. It went from having floors to having none. So much so that even the seat mounts were rusted so bad that they weren't safe to use. So I had to cut those out even. Everything is totally rusted and exposed. And this is a major project going on 4 or 5 weeks. Along with other things with the rust, your upper shock bolts will rust out and break. And then you have to, from underneath, you have to beat the little nutsert thing out and then fish a stud, another bolt in from, you fish a bolt in and then it sticks out and you can bolt the shock to that. Your shackles will rust in place and then rust in half. And your front leaf spring mounts will also rust in place. The bolt will rust in place and then the mount will rust away. This Jeep, I suspect, had gotten brake lines from its previous owner, but your brake lines will also probably rust away. Your gas tank is known to rust out on these as well. And on this one, the sway bar links both broke. I believe that was because of rust. So the rust is definitely a huge issue with these, and unless you're in an area where you don't even know what road salt is, just definitely don't consider a Cherokee, because the rust is going to be so bad on it. And unless, I mean, maybe if you don't drive it in the winter at all and don't expose it to the salt, maybe, but if you're thinking about this for a winter thing, just know the rust is going to be ridiculous. Another major issue coming around the front, this is one that I recently learned about. Your factory bump stop, which I have there, is not long enough, because you can see right here the oil pan is smashed and dented, and that's from the upper control arm here can hit the oil pan, and it can hit the 2 lines there are your transmission cooler lines. So with the factory bump stop in, my upper control arm has managed to smash the oil pan. I got lucky and it didn't touch the transmission cooler lines, but it can. So you need to install a longer bump stop if you don't want that to happen. And your final major issue that I'm going to talk about is leaking. Axle seals, differential covers, oil pan, valve cover gasket, gas tank, fuel sending unit, heater hose line things, radiator, the brakes aren't really too common to be leaking, but all the transfer case, all of that stuff that I mentioned is stuff that can and most likely will end up leaking. And now none of those parts are to fix that is particularly expensive, but it's the labor involved, and most of it's not really that hard to do yourself. But unless you have the knowledge and skill, you're going to get eaten alive on labor to get all of that fixed. So with all of these things considered, another thing being your power windows are not going to work very good if you have if you are looking at one with power windows. They're not going to work good at all. And this had power seat on the driver's side. That doesn't work good either. So all of that considered, I would have a hard time recommending a Cherokee to someone.